All right, so today is going to be about social media and then Python, because why not? So let's get started with all that fun stuff. So, yeah, what's going on social media? Because we talked about privacy before, right? In social media, you're kind of making your life available to other people to see, and sometimes people pick the wrong permissions, and so even if they're not your friend, they can see your background, all of your information that you post. So many things are public on social media. Is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? So many things are public. And let's talk about a few issues. So I'll try and answer these questions in this little subsection. What are some issues with social media today? And then also, most of us probably use social media, I assume. How can we use it well, use it wisely? Okay. So yeah, I guess the first one is that I just have a bunch of silly examples like I like to do. So the first example of social media potentially a bad thing is that anybody can see it, including the people who you work for. So this is a little odd, right? So at work, like this is a laptop. I'm using this laptop from the school, and who knows what they have installed on it that I can't see, right? At work, what you do on a computer can be constantly monitored. It is possible. Like here's my laptop. I have no way of proving that the IT department did not install a keylogger, did not install a backdoor so that they can always view my screen. And nobody else does either. So what can somebody do? What can somebody do on this work-owned computer of mine? They can look at my screen. They have the permission to do that because I'm not the administrator. Look at the screen. Whatever you're working on, they can see. They can also track all the stuff that you type on your keyboard, including your passwords, just because you're using their hardware. You type on your keyboard. So all of that your employer has access to if you're using their computers, right? And this is very odd because back in the day, like everybody had a desk, they had a phone maybe, there were no computers. It was impossible to be constantly monitored at your job before the computer era. It's like if your boss was in the room, you could act busy, but when they go away, they can't see what you're doing. Nowadays, since everything is on a computer, you can be monitored remotely. Somebody can be recording your screen like I'm recording my screen for you to view later, okay? So that could be a bad thing. Maybe employers like it, but that's one issue, okay? And that's something I want to bring to your mind if you haven't heard of it before. Another idea is if you're applying for a job, for example, any interviewer can Google you if you have a non-standard name like I do. There's like one other Lawton Nichols in the country, which is unfortunate because they took the Twitter that is Lawton Nichols, I think. So interviewers, they can look you up and find you. They can find your social media account. Hopefully that's not the first thing they click on, right? That's all possible. Here are some examples from the textbook. That have to do with employers monitoring you and looking you up on social media. So apparently, a school district ended up firing a teacher that worked there because she posted a photo on social media of her drinking in a bar, which is obviously totally legal. She was of age, but she still lost the position because of that. Maybe the way it made her look or something. I don't know. Maybe the parents complained, like, why? I don't want my child educated by an instructor who drinks. How dare you? So that is a problem. Like that picture can get you fired, unfortunately. Doesn't make any sense, but I guess in some town where this is important to them, this is possible. Okay, so that's a problem. And another funny example is that a sheriff, it's like the top law enforcement person in the city, they fired their deputy sheriff, so the person right underneath them, like the vice sheriff. They fired their deputy for liking a Facebook campaign page of somebody running for election against the sheriff, because apparently sheriffs are elected, which is hilarious. So that kind of made it seem like that person didn't like the real sheriff anymore, and they got fired. So that's something that is visible to your employers potentially, and you should watch out for it. And it's odd though, because liking a page is that not just free speech? Like why would that get you fired? But in reality, that can be misconstrued, or I don't know, thought to work in a different way, I guess. Any questions, comments about that? Liking the post of the person trying to run against the sheriff, which made it seem like he didn't like him. What? He has the freedom to do it, but he doesn't have the job. Doesn't have the. I guess the job has the ability to fire you for any reason. And obviously, this kind of sounds like you don't have any faith in your boss, and so that's how it was interpreted, I guess, which is unfortunate. You would think that you can just do this, but if you're friends with your boss on Facebook, you can't. Any other questions, comments about this? This is weird, right? This is odd. So this is why I don't post anything on Facebook anymore, because I'm friends with my boss on it. All right. So another one. Maybe you've seen this. Mostly old people like to do this. If you have Facebook accounts, I'm sure you've seen it before. Like in all caps, Facebook does not have my permission to share my photos or messages. And this is just somebody, they make a post that says this, and they think that that is legally binding somehow, and it is absolutely not. Okay, this doesn't work at all. Just by using Facebook, by making an account, Facebook has your permission to do whatever they want with your photos and messages. All right, it's all baked into that terms of service. You remember that thing nobody ever reads? The terms of service totally allow this. Yeah, and so that's why, if you remember back in the day, Google Photos was absolutely free. You could upload as many photos as you wanted to Google Photos. And the reason for that is because they were training their artificial intelligence with your photos. Now it's no longer free, unfortunately. So yeah, some things, just by using the service, if you don't read the terms of service, you're allowing these companies to do things with your content, the stuff that you produce, okay? Which is unfortunate. Any comments about that one? Have we seen older people post these kinds of things before? Yeah. So that's fun. Yeah, that's just social media, privacy issues, I guess, coming all up again. So, okay, let me talk about Duolingo, because I love Duolingo. I love learning languages. My computer's in Spanish, as you can see right now, if you've seen anything else open on it. But Duolingo is a very fun language learning platform, and Duolingo, it has like a paid version now. That's how they make their money. But at the very beginning, they promised to never have like a subscription. They promised to never show ads, and of course they show ads now. They promised to never do that because they were supposed to make their money through user translations. All right. So the idea was the language learners. We're going to give the language learners some text snippets in the language that they're learning. So let's say that there's a bunch of people on Duolingo learning Spanish, and so Duolingo was trying to make its money by doing this, by giving the same, maybe it was like a newspaper agency that was trying to give a Spanish article to Duolingo so that it could be translated to English. They would give a bunch of little snippets of that newspaper article to the users learning Spanish, for example. And so everybody who was trying to practice, they would just see these, and then they'd translate them themselves. And so the idea was everybody took those snippets. There was a translation. Maybe everybody, like Duolingo gave 50 people this little snippet of the article and told them to go and translate it, please. And they all wrote their best guess to the translation of that sentence. And if enough people agreed, that would be what the translation that was given back to the newspaper people was, which is kind of cool. That was how they were supposed to make their money. Show no ads, just have people who are learning this language practice with that language, agree on a translation for something, and then sell that translation service to companies. So that's what Duolingo started out trying to do. But unfortunately, I guess they couldn't make enough money, and so now they use ads. But isn't that cool? that's how the internet maybe should be, but sadly, you make more money showing ads. And ads just bring you down a whole another rabbit hole, right? Because I'm sure you search for something on Google, and then somewhere else on like some newspaper website, maybe you saw an ad for the thing that you searched for. You're being tracked across those websites, and we should talk about that. Okay? But yeah, Duolingo is fun. Sadly, they show ads now and have a paid version. So with that in mind, let's jump to ads now. Let's talk about Google, because we use Google, right, for email, maybe for searching. Most of us use it to search, I'm sure. But I would like to tell you this: you have to follow the money. Google is not a search company. They are an ad company. Okay? Did you know that? That's very important to tell you. All right? If you just follow the money, if you look at where Google's revenue comes from, it's from selling ads that appear at the top of your search pages. That's how Google makes their money. Okay? That's the idea. And so they're, of course, they're a corporation. They're trying to make as much money as they possibly can for their shareholders. That means they need to get as many of you to click on those ads at the top of the screen, because that's how they make money, by clicks and just by views, I guess. So what does that mean for you, right, as the user of Google? Here's my thought, and I want you to think about this too. So if Google is trying to get you to click on ads for whatever you're searching for, they're going to place them at the top of your page, as you've seen. So it might end up that the thing that you're looking for isn't at the top anymore, because it's not one of the sponsored things, right? So you might end up seeing worse results at the top of your page, first of all, because Google has no incentive to show you what you're looking for at the top of the page. They have the incentive to show you ads for things that they think you want to see at the top of the page. You see that? You might end up seeing worse results at the top of the page. You might have to scroll down a bit to get at what you really wanted, right? And I'm sure you can think of other things that are consequences of this idea. Okay, so that's unfortunate. Google is an ad company. If you didn't know it before, now you do. Okay, most of their money, maybe 90% or so, comes from ads. On the flip side, though, a company like Apple, they don't make their money by selling ads, right? They make their money by selling iPhones, by selling Macs, things like that. They make the hardware. They make the bulk of their money by selling hardware. They give their software away, like their operating system, away for free. Microsoft has to sell Windows. You just get Mac OS on your Mac when you buy it, right? So Apple is a hardware company. That's what they sell to you. And so Apple, we've heard maybe in the news that Apple really cares about privacy. That's one thing that they pitch hard when they tried to sell you one of their devices. Like, this is all encrypted. We are not trying to mine your searches so that we can sell them to somebody else. So just by how they make their money, it is kind of obvious why Apple could care about your privacy. They are not in the business to not care about your privacy like Google is. Does that make sense? It's all about where they get their money. All right, so when in doubt, go to a company. If it's a publicly traded company, they have information about where they're making their money from. When in doubt, please follow the money. Now you know. All right, so don't trust Google. Maybe you can trust Apple a little bit more, for example. Right? But at the end of the day, they're selling you stuff, right? Any questions about these ideas? I don't mean to be like I hate every company ever, because I use Google all the time, right? It's just important to understand what end of the transaction we're on, right? Because Google is a free thing for us to use. And because it's free, they're not trying to make money off of us. They're trying to sell us, right? So when a service is free like Google, you are the product. That's important to understand, right? So when you search something on Google, everything that you do, your search history, your information that you type in, it's being taken in and it's being sold to somebody, right? That's so they can show you ads somewhere else on the internet later, for example. That's the idea. So when a service is free, like Facebook, for example, your posts, they're gonna use those in some way to make money, right? Why would they give something away for free if they couldn't make money with it, right? So yeah, all that information, on Facebook, on Instagram, all that fun stuff is being captured. It's being sold to somebody, and that's how the company makes money. In addition, they have ads and stuff too, right? So yeah, all of that stuff is spelled out in the terms of service, which nobody ever reads, right? So there is a fun website. If you've seen this on the internet before, the TLDR, have we heard that before? It just means too long, didn't read. There is a fun little website that took a bunch of terms of service of major things that we all like to use every day, and they made a tosdr.org website, and I would like us to all go there. It's a fun place. And what it does, what these nice people did for us was summarize the terms of service because we didn't read any of them, right? So if you just scroll down, you'll see all of these different services, and you can click on them for more information. But you can see that Facebook has grade E, which is probably the lowest grade ever. Amazon is grade E. Reddit is grade E. Wikipedia, grade B, because they want donations. They're not trying to put ads anywhere, right? So all those things. DuckDuckGo is a free internet search engine. It's a competitor to Google, and they really care about your privacy. They don't share your searches with anyone, right? So that's the idea. But some of these places suck. Like Facebook stores your data whether you have an account or not. Your identity is used in ads that are shown to other users. The service can read your private messages. So that's kind of why it's getting such a low grade, and you can click on it to know more about what's going on there. So there are some good things, some green things, but the red outweighs the green, I guess. So this is tosdr.org. Okay? So this is fun because nobody read any of these. It's time to learn about them. All right? So here is my activity that I have for us now. Please get into peer instruction groups. Go here. Go to tosdr.org with your group. And then I'm going to have you as a group summarize, essentially, one of these companies. So let's order the companies like this. Let's first go to because I want you to write this down. Let's go to the written ice page 2. Ice. I'll clear it out for us. This will be a fun activity, I think. And so if you're here on the tosdr.org, let's number them like this. Let's say that left to right, top to bottom. So Facebook is 1, Amazon is 2, Reddit is 3, Wikipedia is 4, in that order. And so I would like you, as a group, search for a random number between 1 and 8. You can search Google for it, even though it's going to steal your searches. And so this will just give you a random number. Go to this company number 8 on the page, please, and look at it. And so random number between 1 and 8. Random number, this time it's 2. So you'll just pick one, and that will tell you which one to do. So if it was 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, my group would review Quora. I'd click on it, and I'd read all the stuff. All right? So I just want you to get some practice with this. So click on that numbered company, and please write on the written ice page at least 2 things that you learned about that company that I'm sure you've used before that you didn't expect. It can be either good or bad, and I'd like to have an explanation as well. Like if you find a good thing about Wikipedia, for example, like why is that so good? Tell me. If you find something horrible about YouTube, tell me why that's so bad. All right, so you're going to each review a company together, hopefully, if you're next to somebody, and that will lead our next discussion. Are there any questions about what I'm asking you to do? So go learn some unfortunate facts about the terms of service for some service that you most likely use already. I'll give you a few minutes to go and read all that. So try to find 2 things that you learned that you didn't know. You didn't expect it to be there for that particular service. couple more minutes. Hope we're finding some juicy stuff to write about. All right. Let's take a look at what we're thinking. What did you guys find about the companies that you were asked to do? All right. What's wrong with Quora? What's good about Quora? Stores data on individuals even if they did not interact with the service. So every time I click a link to Quora on Google, I guess even if I'm not logged in, they're storing all the data about what I searched for. That's no good. IP address, location. Yeah, it's very easy to track where you are given your IP address, unfortunately. And so that might be bad privacy-wise. I could see that. All that fun stuff. Personal data is given to third parties. Oh, goody. Yeah. Even if you didn't log in, it's going to take your information, which kind of makes sense. Most people, they never log in on certain websites, and so they want to make as much money as possible. Might as well try and track them around somehow. So yeah, that's unfortunate. Wikipedia has grade B. Yeah, that's surprising in itself. I guess they're pretty decent with privacy. It's not grade A, but I guess they can delete your account without prior notice, maybe if they suspect you of something. Yeah, they should really make it easier to get it back if that was a mistake, I think. Yeah, a couple more Wikipedia ones. Oh man, Wikipedia can use tracking stuff? That's too bad. Wikipedia, does it have ads? I don't remember. I have an ad blocker, so I'm not sure. Yeah, and then whatever one Group 20 did was, sadly, they can use your location, just like Quora. So that's no fun. And yeah, your information, whatever you search for, mixed with your location, can be given to somebody else. And that's valuable to somebody. Like, somebody in Fresno searched for whatever, and then they could start targeting ads to other people, because maybe other people in Fresno want that thing too. That's the idea. Okay, so thank you for humoring me with those submissions. Are there any questions or comments about what we discovered? It's sad to learn all these things, but this was what the website was really doing all along, and it's important that you know it. All right? Khan Academy, grade E, oh no. I'm asking you to do extra credit on Khan Academy eventually. Darn. Okay, so yeah, that is the idea. Yeah, so thanks for that. That is all unfortunate, though, I guess. Let's keep going, though. Thank you for your responses. So, yeah, that's what the internet is like these days, I guess we could say. It's hard to have privacy. Though there are certain times when you don't want privacy, right? Why is this grayed out? That's not good. Now you're happy? Okay. Yeah. So there are certain things that are unfortunate. Twitter, Facebook, things that you can post that you shouldn't be posting, right? Those are all possible. There's hate speech that is all over the internet, right? There are posts that incite violence that are allowed to stay up for a while. People are freely allowed to post lies, right? All of those things, they're hard for a company to censor. Just think of Twitter, for example. They're getting millions of tweets maybe every second, I don't know. It's really hard for a human to go through them all. You have to automate that process for the most part and just rely on enough users reporting things that are really bad. And so the people who get there first, they're going to see that bad thing, unfortunately, before it gets removed and censored. That's just the fact of life, all right? It's very hard, it's very hard to sort through a bunch of posts. Very hard to sort through. You cannot employ enough people to sort through all the tweets that get posted every day. To sort through tons of posts to find all the bad stuff. So there are bad people in the world, unfortunately, and it's hard to censor the stuff that they might want to post. Okay? And so here are some examples of things that either are unfortunate or like we're allowed to stay up for a while. This particular tweet by Donald Trump, for example, this is pretty clearly inciting violence, right? And this was allowed to stay up for a while. That's too bad. And so there's always a give and take when you have some service that you make. What should be allowed to be posted? What should be allowed to stay up? That's a hard question to answer, right? Because you want to give people the ability to have free speech, but you also want to make sure that they're not trying to harm anybody, okay? And then there was a whole big debacle 2 election cycles ago or something about Facebook, because they were letting certain election ads on their platform, but maybe not others, and so they were kind of wishy-washy with should we just block every political ad or allow a few through, something like that. So back in the day, maybe this was 2020 elections or something, Facebook announced that they would ban new political ads in the week leading up to the election, because they were having so many issues with misinformation, ads that were lying to users, trying to get them to vote a certain way by saying something that wasn't true, which is really unfortunate. And that may have swayed some people, right? That's no fun. So all these kinds of things that are just a fact of life if you live in a place where you can post things and you have free speech, it's hard to censor the things that really probably should be censored, all right? Any questions, comments about that? It's a hard job to have, to pick the things that should be taken down. All right. So, yeah, if we're happy with all that, that was just the interesting philosophical stuff for the day. I would like to switch gears for a moment to go and talk about Python, because I want to make sure that everybody can do that new assignment, and I have a trick for you, that thing that I showed you last time, right? So I'll show you how to turn corners easier. It's going to be the dot go-to that I showed you at the end. So there's always a coordinate system in Python land. There's like the turtle starts at 0, 0, right? Then you can move him. If you wanted to draw something very complex, like, for example, this triangle, you'd have to know some information about it, right? Maybe, like if I wanted to draw exactly this weird-looking triangle in Python, in Turtle Land, like these are the 3 points. You'd have to figure out all the different angles, and you know they're all different from each other. You'd have to figure out one way or another, like you need a starting point and 3 angles and like lengths, or you need all 3 points. It's just hard, right? Just me doing the N, for example, in my last name last time, that was so difficult, right? And so I had to calculate angles, use the Pythagorean theorem, inverse tangent, all that stuff. It would be easier if we could just say, go to this coordinate, go to this coordinate, go to this coordinate, and the turtle can do that. All right, so let me show that to you. All right, so use the coordinate system to your advantage. the turtle will respond to the go to somewhere, go to this coordinate command, because there's always a coordinate system, right? The turtle starts at 0, 0, 0, 0. And if you know where you want him to go, you can just say, go there, please, right? The turtle starts out in the middle facing east, and you can always check where he is with print turtle.pause to just check yourself. Let's do that to start. I'll make a new file. I'll open up idle. There it is, ready to go. And I'll save this somewhere so that we can have it. Let me figure out what lecture we are while that's opening. Let's see here. Where is it? We're lecture 15. All right, I will remember that. Lecture 15. I'll make a new file called, I guess I'll call it goto, because that's the thing I want to show you. It's called goto, goto.py, and I'll save it in a nice lecture 15 folder for us. There we go. Now it exists. And so I'm going to use this feature. If I search for a Python turtle, here's the documentation page. I'm excited that the internet's still working, knock on wood, today. So yeah, a lot of things going on here. You can ask the turtle, hey, where are you right now, by saying turtle.position or turtle.pause. They're the same thing, so I can print that. Import turtle, of course. Print turtle.pause for short. Tells me my turtle's current position. But I also want the turtle to look like a turtle. Remember that? So turtle.shape. Give it the string turtle. So I don't want him to look like an arrow. I want him to look like the turtle that he really is. And so if I run this, I have a turtle in the middle of the screen, and we print out his position, and that position is 0, 0. All right, so he starts out in the middle, facing right, and then you can do whatever you want. All right, so let me show you the power of the goto. Let me find it first. There it is. It's called 3 different things, whichever one you want to do. Goto is the shortest. You could say turtle.goto xy, turtle.setPause xy, or turtle.setPosition xy. All of them will do the same thing. Tell the turtle to go straight to some coordinate, okay? No matter your current direction, which is nice, all right? So you can always check by printing out where he is if you want to know, but you can just also play around, try going here, right? So this is going to be very helpful for your programming assignment. I want you to just pretend that the letter you're trying to draw, or the number you're trying to draw in the assignment, is enclosed in a rectangle, right? So for example, I want to draw an L and I want to draw an N because those are my initials. I want you to imagine that those letters are enclosed in a rectangle, and that will help you determine what their coordinates are, and that will help you use goto to draw them if you want to go that route, all right? So pretend that they're all in a little bounding rectangle, and kind of what you need to do is figure out the corners of that rectangle. Do you see how if I knew these 3 coordinates, I could draw the L? I could just say go here, then go to here, then go to here. So this is I don't know, start in x1, y1, go to x2, y2, and then finally end up in x3, y3. Okay? If you have all that, then you can make your drawing. And so if I had this point, this point, this point, and this point, I could say go to here, then here, then here, then here, and that would draw the end without me having to deal with coordinates, with angles and length calculations. That's the idea. Okay? So yeah, pretend that your letters are enclosed in a rectangle, figure out the important points that you'd want to go to, and you can use turtle.goto to go to there, or turtle.setPause or turtle.setPosition. They're all the same thing, all right? So it's your job just to choose the width and height of your letter, and then that will help you calculate where the coordinates should be. Okay? So here's the idea. Let me draw the L and N for my initials in this cool new goto way. Okay? So again, I'm going to plan it out. Here's what I want to do. Let's plan out all the links and everything, and then let's come up with coordinates instead of trying to figure out angles. So here's the L, and here is the N of my initials. These are really supposed to be straight lines. Let me try and fix that one. There we go. And okay, here's the idea. Here's what I want you to do. This is going to help you do your assignment. Pretend that all of these are enclosed in a little rectangle. This is a rectangle. This is a rectangle. Pick your widths and heights of your letters. Like, let's say that this is height 200 for both of them. And then maybe the width of the L is 125. And just to make it easier on ourselves, let's make sure that the N has the same width, 125. Let's say that the distance between the L and the N is 50 units. And now we want to like draw this somewhere, right? So I guess the idea is we would like this to be centered on the page, right? So the middle of the L and the middle of the N, vertically at least, should be going through y equals 0, I think. And this is going to help us come up with coordinates. Like whatever this is, we kind of want this one to be on the right, this one to be on the left. Like what should this coordinate be? What should this coordinate be? What should this coordinate be? That's what we're about to calculate, right? But at least we know now, like if this is width 200, whatever this one is, its y is 100. It's half of the 200 because we're trying to make it be right in the middle. So it's going to be something, comma 100. That's the idea, right? And I don't know, we kind of want it to be on the left side of the screen. So like this is, maybe this is 0, 0. Let's make this be like negative 200 or negative. You could think of this like maybe negative 125 plus 75, negative 150, I'm not sure. Maybe that's the better one. Oops. You can figure something out yourself and it should make sense, I think. But yeah, let's try and do it smack in the middle if we can. So, I don't know, if this is 0, 0, like we want this to be 0, 0, this has got to be then the x coordinates, negative 50 plus minus 120, or sorry, half of 50. So negative 25 minus another 125, that seems to be negative 150. And so that's the x-coordinate of this line here. All right, and so now that's the first coordinate. We can just use go-tos to draw the rest. So once we have one coordinate pinned down and the lengths and heights of everything else, I can find all of the other coordinates that are important to these letters, all of these ones. So like, what is this one? Well, its x is still negative 150. Its y is going to be, well, if this is 100, this is height 200, this must be negative 100. See how easy that is compared to trying to do inverse tangents and things? Yeah. And so if this is 125 over, this coordinate right here, maybe that one, is going to be negative 150 plus 125 because we're going in the positive x direction. So that's just positive 25, and then the y is still negative 100. See that? So that's how I can come up with these coordinates. That's the goal. And so then we have this one. It's just 50, x is over, so it's 75. Still y is negative 100. 75, negative 100. And then if we go back up here, we know that the x is 75, and the y is going to be positive 100. That's how you can come up with all these coordinates, right? And that makes it easier. This is much faster this way. This is positive 100. And then, all right, 125 over from 75 is, what is that going to be? That's positive 200, right? I believe 125 plus 75, I think that's positive 200. And then negative 100. We'll see if I did that right. And then this one can be 200. And I guess, let's see here, positive 100. I have a feeling I did something wrong. Let's see. Yeah, sorry, this is supposed to be 0. This x is supposed to be, this is the x equals 0 line. My bad. So this should have been half of 50. That is 25. And the reason I messed up is because this was supposed to be negative 25x. My bad. So let me fix all that. The x coordinates are wrong. But again, it's an easy thing to notice, I think. So let me fix all those guys. So this should have been positive 25. Oops. 125. And then this is 125 over, so that's positive 150. And it kind of makes sense because this one was negative 150. That's how I noticed it. 150, 100, and this should be positive 25, 100. Okay, so I think those are my coordinates. And now the beauty is the rest of the program writes itself. Watch. So I'm going to draw the L, then draw the N. So watch what happens. If I would like to draw this L, it's beautiful. All I have to do is tell the turtle to go there. So it's like he's going to draw a line everywhere he goes, right? Unless you pick him up. So like start here, go to here, then go to here, then go to here. That will draw the L because he's going to those places in that order. He's just like drifting, no matter his direction, to those coordinates. So turtle dot go to negative 150, 100. Then go to the other part. I'll just copy and paste these. Go to negative 150, negative 100. And then go to negative 25, negative 100. And that will be essentially the L. Watch it go. There is one thing I forgot to do, though. See if you spot it before it runs. The turtle starts with his tail down. So he's going to start at 0, 0, and I tell him to go to negative 150, 100. He's going to draw a line to that place. I get the L, but I get this extra line. And so if I don't want to see the line there, I should pick the turtle up. Take your tail up, please. Then go to the start of the L, and now you're ready to make marks. Turtle dot down. Does that make sense? If I rerun it now, it should be working. Okay, so now I have my L, and then I have to do the rest for the N. So I want to move to the start of the N because we need another gap, right? Move to the start of the N with your tail up. And so whatever the starting coordinates are of the N, let's start at the bottom maybe. That's the idea. Like pick yourself up, move to where the N should start, and then you're ready to put yourself down and start drawing the N. Okay? And you see how the direction of the turtle doesn't matter at all when you're using go to, which is kind of nice for us, I guess. So where does the N begin? It starts at positive 25, negative 100. All right, so now we're at the start of the N. Now we can draw the entire N. It's always going to be turtle dot go to 3 of them, I guess. So he was here. We put him here. Draw a line straight up to here. So go to 25, 100. Oops. And then go to the other side, right? So we just drew this line. Now we want to draw this line. So you were here. Go here to 150, negative 100. And then finally go up to the top of the N, which is 150, positive 100. And I believe those are all the coordinates that we needed to hit. If I run this, beautiful and centered on the page as well. That's gorgeous. All right. So that is the code. This is the scratch work. Much faster than the other way, I think. Are there any questions about this idea? I think that will help you with your assignment. All right. Yeah, if you're happy with that, I'll leave this code up for you to see, but I have a question for you to try now. So now that you know about GoTo, I want you to have some practice with GoTo. So draw something that's slightly complicated using turtle.goto. Maybe like draw a house or something. Like draw this. Obviously, it's going to be your job to pick out all the points. Do that. Like here's a door, here's a window. Have fun with it if you'd like, but it's your job to find all of these points. And then you can use turtle.goto mixed with like up and down, of course, to like move them over to places and not make marks. But see if you can draw something more complicated like this, and I'll be here to help you as you try. All right? So that's your final question of the day. So give that a try. And I'll bring us back in a few minutes. Any questions about the question? Oh, let me show you my code as well. Here is my code to draw the L on the end. See if you can draw something cool like like a house or something using this idea. Plan out those points and then go for it. All right, take one more minute and then we'll conclude. All right. So yeah, did anybody get the house? Any questions about anything that came up while you were trying it? The power of go-to. Definitely study my example. Definitely try this. I think it will help for your assignment. All right, if we're happy, let's see here. That's where I want to end the lecture today. We'll come back and talk more about bad things on the internet, but that's enough sad stuff for one day. And yeah, I think it was just the lecture for the day. We already released the next programming assignment. So yeah, that is all that I have for us. The rest of the time is yours to work.